you can put your trust in him. It means that when God makes a promise, I guarantee he will come through for you. And it may not be, it may not be the time that you were hoping for, and it may not happen as quick as you would like it. It may not even happen anything like you thought it was going to be. But I want to let you know that God is trustworthy. You can place your faith, your trust, your hope in him, because he will fulfill everything that he said that he was going to do. In fact, let me go so far as to say this, that your ability to trust him, okay? You think about times in your past, okay? Times that were dark, times that you were just wondering what was going to happen the next day, the next moment. You conquered through those times when you trusted God to get you through them. And the reason that you failed during those days is because you decided not to trust in him, but you trusted in yourself. You with me? And throughout the Bible, what's that? Amen, right. Right. So, amen, right. So this entire Bible, literally from Genesis all the way through Revelation, is God's story. And one of the things that he is trying to get across is this: I fulfill my promises. You can trust in me. I will promise and I will make good on those things. And if he says something, you can trust him. Amen? And in the future, okay, and remember the whole reason that, or at least one of the reasons why I wanted to even go through this, is because I believe that our church, that our country, that even the world, let's just be honest, is going to go through a magnificent pressure that we have never ever seen before. You with me? We're going to go through persecution that has never been experienced on our planet before in such a wide scale thing. And this is what I want you to know now before we get there, okay? Is that no matter what happens, no matter what persecution, no matter what they think that they can do to us, to silence us and to get us off track, there is a trustworthy God that you can run to every single step of the way. And it may not be what you thought or hoped for. And you might have to sacrifice things that you didn't realize were going to be on the table. But God is trustworthy. He is faithful. He will never, ever abandon you. I am with you even until the end of the age. God is always, always, always going to be with you. I will provide for you every single step of the way. He will provide direction every single time we call on him. He is always going to be there. In your darkest of night, whether it is as bright as day, God is always faithful to you, to the promises that he's given to us. I will never leave you. I'll never forsake you is a great promise that I am guaranteed that God will always be there in the darkest of times. Amen. And I know that whole thing of Genesis all the way through, I understand if it's kind of hard to follow, but maybe if you hear it again and again and again, you're just going to remember that if God can keep a promise that's 4,000 years old, then certainly he can keep the promises that he's made to me as well. Amen? This is one of those promises. It's in John chapter 10. This is what he says. He goes, all who come to me are in my hand, and no one can take them out of my hand. And then he goes like this. Oh, if that wasn't good enough, all of them are in my Father's hand, and no one can take them out of my Father's hand. Are you with me? This is a promise, and it is trustworthy, and you never, ever, ever have to worry whether or not Satan can snatch you out of his hand. Nobody can pluck you out of his hand. He is trustworthy, and I can put my life in his, in all that he's asked. Amen? In fact, if you put it in anything else, just know that at the end of this book, everything turns to dirt. You would be putting your faith and your hope, and you've been spending all of your time and making all these other things priorities, and they all just end up like smoke in the wind, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to think something cool, but that's all I came up with. Sorry, Natalie. Are you with me? This is an amazing God. Revelation 7 is absolutely it is the pivotal turn in this book, okay? Because from here on out, we see how God is judging the world. Yes, absolutely, chapter 8 and 9. But we also see these little pictures of how God is bringing Israel back to himself. Romans chapter 9. Dennis, you'll like Romans chapter 9. It's about how Israel is going to be brought back into this whole situation, ultimately to restore and to make good on all of the promises that God has made. He is trustworthy. You can trust in him with your entire life. Amen?